Welcome back to CEO Question Time. I am joined in the studio by Charmaine Mabuza, the CEO of Ithuba. Hello.
Hello, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure to have you. Thank you
Yes.
for coming.
Yes.
Obviously, the excitement of day one is underway. What are you looking forward to seeing at the show?
Well, I must tell you, I've seen quite a bit of innovation that has been going on. I was pretty surprised. It means that people didn't relax during COVID. They did some development. So there's been quite a bit of interest in terms of the new technology. And I'm just glad to reconnect with the various suppliers around here. So it has been absolutely lovely being back at ICE.
It seems everyone's very happy to be back in person, doing business to business, face to face.
Yes, I mean, virtual has got its space, it's got its time, but somewhere in between you need that human contact, and I think this was a good way of kickstarting that connectivity with people-to-people relationships.
So you've positioned Ithuba as an innovator in the lottery sector. What in particular are you proud of?
Well, looking back, it's very difficult to say there's a particular one incident, but I can think of that we actually introduced the random numbers generator well in advance, I think in around 2017 when there was no issues of COVID and lockdown. So when lockdown happened, we were able to continue with our sales uninterrupted because many lotteries actually did not were able to sell during that period, and yet we continued to sell. So I think that was one strategic decision. And of course, one of the important things was introducing our app, and also, I mean, because once the retail sector was, disrupted, people could still turn to the app. But more importantly, I think the decision to decentralize our products and make our products available on many partners or third parties platforms helped us, and we saw enormous growth during that period, up to 40% in terms of e-commerce. So that was, for us, some of the things, I think, decisions that when looking back, I'm extremely proud of.
So 40%, that's quite significant. Do you think those numbers will retain, or do you think they might dwindle now that everyone's sort of going back to life after COVID?
I think they are going to return because I think the younger generation is now embraced it, and they've come to their stage of their lives where they're economically active. So I think that we've seen those numbers really retain, hold their fort, even though activities are going back to normal. Remember that we used to term it the millennials or the Generation X. Those are now very active in the economy, and they prefer technology than the traditional retailer, outlets.
So ease of access seems to be a key priority. What are you doing to ensure lottery products are readily available for customers?
Well, that was something I'm very passionate about. I think South Africa is one of the first, if not the only lottery that actually enables its players to purchase the lottery while they're doing their banking, their day-to-day banking. And this, you can recall that people used to buy the lottery through when they buy their bread and butter, the bread and milk on a daily basis. Then they will purchase a ticket. Now, the same customers or the new younger customers purchase their lottery when they're doing their banking or paying their bills or buying airtime. So the decentralization of our products, making sure that they're on third party, has been an excellent investment, and access is very important for us.
And as the 7th anniversary of Ithuba's national lottery contract approaches, how are you looking to build on your tenure?
Well, firstly, I am not shy to claim that we have built a very good reputation for being operationally efficient, and we would like to leverage on that. And I mean, all our stakeholders will understand how much time and investment that we've put in the past 7 years, and our reputation really speaks for itself. And we're looking forward to new game innovations, because this is where our focus is going, so that it keeps satisfying our players. They are always pushing for higher jackpots, new games, and that's where our energy is focused on in the next coming time.
So a little glance into the future there. What else is next for Ithuba? Are you looking to expand into other markets perhaps?
Well, I'm loving that question because for us, growth has become very organic. As I was saying to you, our reputation has really stood us in good stead. And so jurisdictions are coming to us and say, can we copy your model? Can you share your model? So Ithuba is growing along in many other African jurisdictions and in many other, that's our first focus because we understand the DNA, we know how to localize our products, we know how to work in that environment. So growth into Africa and other jurisdictions is very important to us, and watch that space.
I like that. Watch the space. So the Zamani Group, though its betting, gaming and technology arms seem to be building up an array of assets for expansion into new markets, what are you planning?
Certainly, for us, we've seen the test in the economy during this past pandemic. So we have to regroup in terms of our strategy, building up assets in sports betting, in lottery, in other online solutions and online casinos. As our private equity fund, we are just focused. We want to become a gaming kind of specialist because that's where we're good in. That's what we're good at. And that's our path that we really want to chart forward. We've put in a roadmap to achieve it. We've seen the growth has paid off for us, and so we're very happy with that.
Now we know, Charmaine, that giving back is very important to you. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, it's a subject that's very close to my heart. I myself come from an environment which was, terribly in need, so I understand, what it means to give back. For instance, I'm giving an example. We've engaged on a huge project, but partly I believe that the communities that we serve really start owning our brand because they kind of agree with the values that we push as Ithuba. So our program of giving back is enormous, not only to our partners or stakeholders that we work with. We build up their businesses in terms of enterprises, our suppliers, we ensure that there's sustainability, but we also do social economic programs that make a difference in our community. And when Ithuba comes along, people own it. It's a people's lottery. It's a people's company. And I think for me, that has been the biggest gratification I would ever have, because the ethos that we've built within the company, everyone embraces it. Everyone relates to these things that we do in making the difference in the communities that we serve.
It sounds like you've really adopted that ethos and sort of spread that through the company. Has that been easy to do?
Well, I must tell you that I think when somebody enters your home and they see this is how you do things, they adjust. It may not be easy, but everybody understands that for us, Ubuntu, the culture of humanity is extremely important to as an organization. We practice that in-house. We also practice that even externally. We give our resourcing teams extensive training so that they understand that philosophy. And it was not easy, but it can be easy if you set your mind to it. And all your evaluations center around our values as an organization. Even our performance indicators talk to the values of the organization.
Brilliant. Great work you're doing. And you were named one of IGB's most influential women last year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does that make you feel? Were you aware that was going to happen? Tell us about that moment.
Wow, I must tell you I was not aware. It took me by surprise myself, but I must say I'm humbled and absolutely show gratitude that somebody acknowledges our work and the kind of work that we have done. So I must tell you it was a big surprise, but this is not my award only. It belongs to my team, the team that really make it happen for us. And they are there all the time supporting me and making sure that the leadership in our organization really achieves its objective. So I must say I'm humbled on that part.
And what about opportunities for women in the gambling industry? Do you think there are enough opportunities granted to women?
Well, there is definitely room for improvement, I can assure you, and that comes in to us as operators because middle management needs to make a concerted effort. They need to put it down as a target to ensure that there's diversity and women are represented in leadership so that they can progress to leadership at a higher level. But I see that some people ignore that. Some organizations don't take heed around that matter. For instance, in my organization, there's more than 65% are women that work in executive leadership positions. So we practice what we preach, and I think that women bring a beautiful flair. There's that nurturing flair, and they're perfectionists. So I really applaud other CEOs to give women an opportunity. And as for us as women who are in leaders, if somebody gave us that break, we must give somebody else that break, especially if it's a woman that can take that baton and grow also in their individual careers.
65%, that's quite a big population there of women. Has it always been a high population of females working at the company?
Well, I must tell you that for me, it has not been an easy task. It's a concerted task. I mean, I think about it and I make it sure that if there's any interviews, how are women represented in that space. It's not been easy because women have also shied away over, time. Not much opportunities was given. I talk for myself. It's been very difficult to be the only woman sitting around the table and negotiating. But I think if you really want something, if you really are committed to it, you can make it happen and test it. Here I am, where evidence Ithuba is doing well, with women showing the most amount of leaders. And really, it's just about a mindset and the cultural change.
That's it, because you can really experience imposter syndrome when you are an outcast in a certain group of people.
Yes.
And so that must be, really difficult going into a sort of male-dominated industry and sort of sticking to that path. So well done you.
Thank you. I must say that I think the boys' club has been in existence. I think our being there around the table, it brings a new dimension, new perspective, even from a product generation. By the way, when you do products, you think, how does that affect your most buyers? Because women generally throughout the world are more than 50% in terms of the demographics. And in our country, there are about 51% of women, and they are clients. So we need to understand when we design products, where do women fit in as well?
Brilliant. And so, day one of ICE London, what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I must tell you that there's been, as I said, a lot of technology. I'm enjoying just connecting with our stakeholders around here, meeting with people that we haven't met with. It's been absolutely amazing and refreshing. There's so much to see. I can't even get around, but I'm enjoying it, just being back again in the mainstream with people under the same roof after such a long period.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we bring this meeting to a close?
No, I just want to wish everybody a healthy stay and watch this space. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Thank you.